Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself, wrestling with those huge what-if questions?
Mm-hmm.
The kind that seem so simple on the surface, but then they just pull you down into this, rabbit hole of physics, philosophy, maybe even spiritual stuff.
Definitely. Those are the best kind.
Well, we got a truly brilliant one from a listener for this deep dive. If we could stop time, could we be immortal?
Oh, that's a great one.
Sounds like science fiction, right?
Yeah.
But it actually forces us to look at the very fabric of reality.
It really does. It's a remarkable starting point because it immediately pushes against our everyday assumptions about how things work.
Yeah.
We're not just looking at, theoretical physics equations here. We're kind of forced to confront these fundamental concepts about existence itself, perception, and what it even means to transcend limits. It's not just about freezing a moment. It kind of forces us to reevaluate how different frameworks even define immortality or timelessness.
Absolutely. So for the next few minutes, we're going to try and unravel this question. We've pulled together some fascinating insights from the sources you provided.
Good stuff in there.
Yeah, really interesting. We'll dissect what stopping time really means scientifically, and then see if that theoretical state gets us anywhere close to, what we might imagine is immortality.
Sounds good.
Get ready, because this takes us to some truly unexpected places.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's kick things off where the question naturally leads us first. The realm of pure science.
Yeah.
Physics.
From a strictly physics perspective, if you could hypothetically press a giant universal pause button, freeze time itself, would that make you immortal?
Well, in a purely theoretical physics sense, yes, but in a very, very specific way.
Okay.
If time genuinely halted, completely stopped, then all the processes within your body would cease. Instantly.
Like biological processes.
Yeah.
Everything. Your cells would stop metabolizing, they wouldn't break down, they wouldn't age, there'd be absolutely no wear and tear from the passage of moments because, well, no moments are passing.
Oh.
So if we imagine a perfect scenario, no external accidents, no diseases creeping in somehow, your physical state would indeed be perfectly preserved. Indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Wow.
So by that one very narrow definition being physically ageless, immune to the decay of time, you could maybe say it's close to a kind of immortality.
That sounds almost utopian, doesn't it? Perfectly preserved, unaging you. Forever.
It does sound good on the surface.
I sense a but coming.
Yeah.
This is where the deeper implications hit, right? If time stops, can you actually move? Can you even experience that supposed immortality?
And that's precisely where the paradox slams into us.
Okay.
Movement. What is movement? By its very definition, it's a change in position over time.
Right, of course. Change over time.
So if there's literally no time for anything to change, well, then you couldn't move at all.
Not even a little bit.
Think about it. Imagine trying to take just a single step forward. The very molecules of air around you, which normally just flow out of the way, they'd be frozen solid in place, like an invisible, utterly unyielding wall, harder than concrete, infinitely resistant.
Wow. So you couldn't push through them?
The resistance would be theoretically infinite. You wouldn't be able to budge an inch, not a millimeter. You'd be locked in place, completely static.
You'd be trapped.
Yeah.
Frozen solid inside this invisible, unyielding shell of stopped reality.
Exactly.
Okay, what about sight then? Could you still, look around, even if everything else was paused, like being inside a perfectly still photograph, but you can still see it?
Nope. Not even that.
Really? Why not?
Because light itself, it travels over time.
Of course. Speed of light.
Right. So if time stops, light stops dead in its tracks. Imagine photons, the actual particles of light, just freezing in space, unable to move from, say, a lamp to your eyes.
Darkness.
Absolute, total, impenetrable darkness. You wouldn't be able to perceive anything at all. Nothing. In physics, a true cessation of time means a complete halt of everything, including your own internal biological processes, which means...
Your thoughts, your consciousness.
Gone. Or frozen, rather.
Yeah.
No brain activity, no perception, no interaction with the external world. You would essentially be a perfectly preserved, unmoving, unseeing, unthinking statue.
So the whole idea of experiencing immortality in that state...
It becomes completely meaningless, doesn't it?
What a stark and, frankly, a little bit terrifying image. Preserved, sure, but without any capacity to perceive or react or even think. It completely shatters our usual idea of what being immortal would actually feel like, or mean. It's less a superpower, more like a cosmic coma.
For a permanent, unchanging one.
Right. Which brings us to such a crucial point about what we really mean by immortality.
Mm.
If just stopping physical time doesn't give us what we imagine,
Eh,
maybe we need to think about time differently.
Exactly.
And this is where our deep dive takes a really fascinating turn, moving beyond just the physics of stopping time into the concept of dimensions.
Yes, the dimensions.
For a long time, scientists have often talked about time as the fourth dimension, right?
Indeed, it's a common framework. If you think about our three spatial dimensions, length, width, depth, we can move around in those pretty freely, back and forth, up and down.
Yeah.
The idea of time as a fourth dimension suggests, at least hypothetically, a similar kind of navigability.
So like traveling through time.
Potentially, a hypothetical four-dimensional being, or maybe some incredibly advanced technology, might theoretically be able to traverse along this time dimension, much like we walk across a room.
Wow.
They could perhaps jump into the past or project themselves into the future. It's a staple of science fiction, but it's rooted in this dimensional thinking. It suggests a different way to interact with time, not just stopping it, but maybe having some agency over it.
Okay, that's where things get really intriguing for our listener's original question. Because this idea of maybe transcending or moving beyond the normal flow of the fourth dimension, it starts to sound a bit like concepts from philosophy or spirituality.
The parallels can seem striking.
Yeah, like we find in, say, Buddhist philosophy with the concept of nirvana. You might wonder, is this scientific idea of manipulating the fourth dimension kind of like the beyond time state described in nirvana?
It's an excellent question to ask, and it really highlights how different systems of thought approach these profound concepts.
How do they stack up?
Well, on a superficial level, metaphorically, you can see similarities. Both ideas involve a kind of cessation or transcendence of the ordinary flow.
Right, getting outside the normal stream.
But the differences are really, really profound. In the scientific or theoretical physics view, even if you could stop or, manipulate your position within the fourth dimension, you're still fundamentally operating within the cosmic system.
Okay, still part of the machinery.
Exactly. It would be a kind of physical or maybe energetic stasis or perhaps a shift in your timeline, but still within the rules of that four-dimensional reality. Nirvana, on the other hand, that's understood very differently.
How so?
It's described as a complete and utter liberation from the constraints of time, and really from the entire cycle of existence, what's often called samsara.
The cycle of birth and death.
Right. Nirvana is about the cessation of craving, of mental defilements, of suffering itself. It's not just about physical persistence through time. It's a state of profound peace and freedom from the conditions that create suffering in the first place, not just a frozen moment.
Okay, so one is a highly complex theoretical physical state within the system, and the other is understood as a complete spiritual liberation from the system entirely. That's a crucial distinction.
A very crucial one.
But then, as we delve even deeper into the source material you shared, an even more abstract idea pops up. The zeroth dimension.
Ah, yes. Zero dimension.
Okay, for those of us whose heads might be spinning a bit already,
Yeah.
what exactly is the zeroth dimension?
It's purely a concept from the abstract world of physics and mathematics. A zeroth dimension is, simply put, a point.
A point, like a dot on a page.
Even less than that, really. It's a concept that has absolutely zero length, zero width, zero depth, no spatial extension whatsoever.
So it doesn't take up any space.
None at all. It has no direction. It's an entirely abstract construct, kind of a foundational building block for mathematical systems. But it's not something that, exists physically in our observable universe. Think of it as pure location, a coordinate maybe, but without any physical properties attached.
Okay, a pure abstract point. No qualities, no dimensions.
Yeah.
Utterly non-physical.
Precisely.
And this is where it gets really mind-bending, because the material you shared draws this surprising philosophical parallel between this purely abstract mathematical point and the state of nirvana.
Yes, philosophically the resemblance is quite striking, almost poetic, you could say.
How did that work?
Well, both the zeroth dimension, this abstract point, and nirvana are described in their own ways as being essentially formless, shapeless.
Yeah.
Utterly unconstrained by any physical properties or dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both are outside of normal space.
Yeah.
And time.
Exactly. Both are considered, in their essence, to be beyond the limitations of both time and space. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it acts as a powerful analogy. The zeroth dimension, as a mathematical idea, represents this ultimate simplicity, right? This lack of extension or complexity.
Right. Pure simplicity.
Nirvana, similarly, is described as representing a state of ultimate liberation, a mind completely free from all the complexities, the attachments, the suffering that define our usual experience within time and space.
So we're talking about a conceptual state maybe that sheds all physical attributes,
Yeah.
a profound kind of nothingness that maybe paradoxically leads to, well, a liberation or everything in a sense.
That's one way to frame the philosophical parallel. But again, and this is really crucial,
Yeah.
it's crucial to distinguish them clearly. The zeroth dimension is a theoretical mathematical concept. It's a tool for abstract thought, a purely non-physical idea.
Got it. An idea.
Nirvana, conversely, is described not just as an idea, but as an achievable spiritual state, a state of profound liberation, involving a mind that's actually free from defilements and suffering. It's presented as an experiential reality, something attainable through dedicated practice.
One is theoretical math. The other is claimed as an experiential spiritual reality.
Exactly, a fundamental difference in nature.
Okay, that leads us directly to a really fundamental, almost existential question, doesn't it? It comes up naturally from this discussion. How can we actually know if something like nirvana truly exists?
Right.
If it's beyond scientific measurement, beyond putting it in a lab, how do you verify something like that?
This is perhaps one of the most critical points the sources address. And the answer, from the Buddhist perspective, is quite clear.
Which is?
The existence of nirvana, or let's say the validity of the path towards it, cannot be proven through conventional scientific methods. It's just not that kind of phenomenon.
So no microscopes, no particle accelerators.
No. You can't measure it with objective external data in the way we might confirm a physical law. Instead, the claim is that it must be verified personally, internally,
Oh.
through one's own practice or spiritual cultivation. It's about direct personal experience, an internal verification process.
Wow, that's a huge departure from how we usually approach knowledge in the West, isn't it?
It is, in many ways.
But it's definitely not about blind faith then. It sounds like the opposite.
Absolutely not blind faith. It's presented as being entirely about personal experience and actually quite rigorous self-observation.
And the Kalama Sutta, which you mentioned in the sources, that sounds key here.
Oh, it's incredibly important. The Kalama Sutta is seen as quite radical, really empowering. It actively encourages profound critical thinking.
How so?
It explicitly discourages blind acceptance of anything. Doesn't matter if it's traditional teachings, rumors flying around, things written in ancient scriptures, or even stuff said by revered figures or authorities.
So don't just believe it because someone told you to.
Exactly. The Sutta says, don't believe just because you've heard it repeated, or it's tradition, or it seems logical, or it fits your view, or because the speaker seems trustworthy. Instead, you're encouraged to test it, to observe the results of practices in your own life. Does following this path, does engaging in this practice actually lead to less suffering for you? Does it foster more peace? Does it promote genuine well-being?
Ah, so the proof is in the pudding, so to speak, your own internal pudding.
Precisely. That's your personal verification. It's empirical, but the laboratory is your own mind and experience.
That's powerful advice. It puts the responsibility, the onus of determining truth squarely on the individual, doesn't it?
It does.
So what does this practical approach mean for you, the listener, listening right now? In your own search for understanding, whether it's about time, dimensions, or maybe deeper truths about life, how do you apply that kind of healthy skepticism and personal verification?
Well, it means that if you decide to engage in a particular practice, or maybe adopt a certain philosophy or way of living, you pay close attention.
To what?
To the results. If you genuinely find your mind becoming calmer, more peaceful over time, if you notice your own suffering, your reactivity decreasing, if you feel your compassion or understanding growing, that's your personal indication.
Your data.
Your data, exactly.
Yeah.
Showing that you're on a path that is beneficial and, in that sense, true for you. And if you're ever wondering about the authenticity of someone else who's sharing knowledge or claiming some kind of spiritual insight,
Yeah, how do you judge that?
the advice given is to look closely at three things. First, what are the observable results of their practice in their own life? How do they seem to live?
Okay. Walk the talk.
Second, how do their teachings align with fundamental ethical principles? What's called dharma, which you can think of as universal ethical conduct or natural law. Do their teachings promote harm or well-being?
Makes sense. And third?
Third, look at the purity of their conduct. Are their actions genuinely aligned with their words? Is there integrity there?
Results, ethics, and conduct. A kind of triangulation for assessing authenticity.
That's a good way to put it.
Wow. What an incredible journey we've taken today. Seriously.
It really covered some ground.
We started with that simple, almost childlike, what if we stopped time question.
Mm-hmm.
And that single thread pulled us through the stark realities of physics, the really mind-bending concepts of dimensions 0 and 4, and ultimately landed us on this profound path of personal, verifiable spiritual liberation.
It's amazing how one question can open up so many different doors.
It really is. It's truly a testament to the power of just being curious, isn't it?
It highlights so beautifully that whether we're grappling with the intricate constraints of physics, the hard rules, or we're exploring these expansive concepts of spiritual freedom, the quest for understanding often demands that we look beyond our usual boundaries.
Yeah.
We have to consider multiple perspectives, even ones that seem contradictory at first glance. This deep dive, I think, has really shown us that some of the most profound truths, they aren't just found neatly packaged in textbooks.
Yeah.
They often emerge through rigorous personal inquiry, through questioning, and just a genuine willingness to explore what might lie beyond our immediate everyday perception.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So as you, our listener, go about your day and maybe consider this, if true understanding, whether it's scientific, philosophical, spiritual, isn't really about blind belief or just waiting for someone else to tell you the answer, what are you willing to put to the test in your own life? What questions are you willing to explore personally? And what personal results, what internal evidence will ultimately guide your unique path to knowledge and insight?